Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm a little bit later than what I anticipated, so I do apologize. But, happy Saturday. I want to finish up this insert, so we're going to try and work on that today. Now, we do have a storm brewing over my area, so I don't know how long I will be on. So hopefully it doesn't get too bad here. But if I do need to end this abruptly, that is why. So I went ahead and redid the bees. I wanted to bring in a little bit more color. So I redid those, recut them, and we'll work on those today. Finish up the letters and hopefully get everything glued together. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and just use warm white, same color that I used to paint the truck. I'm just lightly tapping this paint on with my makeup sponge. Trying not to get into the grooves, but if I do, I will. I do have a tool that I have that I can go ahead and just remove it. And it's best to try and remove the paint and the score marks and the score lines, excuse me, while it's wet. Good morning. I'm glad you could join us. Now I have various sizes as far as bees. There's particular sizes where I know I want them to go in a certain spot. And with this file, you're going to get, good morning, you will get all the different sizes. So you can choose, which size you think you would want. We had graduation yesterday evening. We had 2 grandchildren graduating. And we ended up, good morning. Things went a little bit later than what I anticipated, which made me a little bit late for today. So, thank you for joining, even though I'm late. I'm just going to try and get this a good coat for the wings, and I am going to go back and shade underneath the score line just to cast a little shadow from one wing to the next. When I did my truck, I did shade it with a sand gray, a very light gray. I don't know if I'll stick with that color. Normally they want you to shade white with gray. But I also like to shade white with antique white. So I might go and do that, because that'll go better, I think, with the black and yellow. So I'll start probably with the antique white shading, see how I like that. And if I don't really care for that, then I will go back and do the gray. And go by the recommendations of Deco because they're pretty spot on with their highlighting and shading colors. So with this being a holiday weekend and everyone having an extra day from work, does anybody have any special plans? It's supposed to rain here pretty much for the next few days where I am. So I don't see us doing too many things outdoors. And with graduation being yesterday, there's a lot of graduation parties to attend, and so we'll be participating in that. All right. Well, let's try the antique white first and see how that goes. See if I like the way that looks. If you didn't see my post, I did change the color of the beehive from, I believe I was using marigold to antique gold. And I just think that's a better color. And then I shaded it, the shading color for the antique gold, the recommendation from Deco Art is raw sienna. So I think that came out really nice. And the highlighting color, believe it or not, is actually marigold, which I did use, and you can see it brings in a little bit more yellow. But I still wanted a little bit of lightness, so I went back and just lightly floated highlighting with golden straw, a very watered down golden straw. And that's what I did. And I like the way it turned out. It has the color that I really was hoping to achieve. So I think that was a good choice. Good morning, John. How are you? All right, so let's go ahead and try and shade this. And then we'll get those bees painted up. We'll have to do that four-wheeler ride, weather permitting. But I'm going to go ahead and paint the bees with the antique gold instead of the marigold. I think it'll be a better fit. So let's just go ahead and try this. You just need a little bit of paint for when you're either oh, yeah. Well, maybe early evening then. So you only need a little bit of paint if you're going to float highlighting or shading, depending, you know, how small the area is. And this area is very small. So that's about all I have. And you just want to take and blend it really good onto your paper palette, whatever you use to do your blending. And then just come over and lightly go over your surface. And the reason why I chose the antique white, it has more of a brownish cast. And I think it just would blend better with the colors I'm choosing to use to paint the bee. Like I said, I don't know if this will look good or not. So I'm just going to go ahead and float the shading first, get the bees painted up, set the wings on it, and see how I like it. If it's not really the look I'm after, then I will go back. Good morning. I will go back and use a gray. Or maybe I just won't shade it all. And you don't have to highlight and shade everything on your surface, on your project. You have to make choices what you think you like best. There is no right or wrongs. So that's really dark enough as far as I'm concerned. You can highlight with regular white, but you're not going to see it all that much. So there's really no point. So we'll get these bees painted up one at a time. Like I said, I'm going to use antique gold. I actually think it's a more calmer color than the marigold, and I do like the marigold. I use it a lot. I use it when I do sunflowers especially. I never really used this antique gold until I tried it on that beehive, and I really like this color. It really ended up being a really pretty color. And it'll probably be one that I use more frequently. I have a lot of new designs to add. I just I haven't had an opportunity. Maybe that'll be something that I am able to do over the weekend. I have this one design. It's an add-on to my truck and its insert. And what's really cool about this is it actually has movable parts. And even though I already have one painted, it might be something that I actually do a live on. It's very time consuming. Like I said, it does have movable parts. But I will be selling those files separately too, just not as an add-on. Because I think if people live on a farm like I do, you'll like this. And then the insert that goes with it is a Highland cow. Highland cows are popular. I did one for my nephew and his bride for a wedding gift. And they really liked it. And so I decided, I created a different type of design. So I decided to create a truck insert for it. And it is really, really cute. That I will not be doing live. That is a very time-consuming painting that I did for that particular item. I didn't paint it like most people do. I did a very detailed painting on it. And a lot of layers. On the cow itself, there's quite a few layers, but just the painting is done in layers. But it really turned out cute. I actually do have my truck up here with that insert in. I could show it to you. But I hope to get those listed sometime within the next week or so. You wouldn't have to paint the Highland cow like I did. Like I said, it's very time consuming. But I just like that look. It's what I prefer. And because it's going in my home. My decor in my home is very country, very primitive, very rustic. I've decorated my home like that for years. As a matter of fact, I mean, that's how it was decorated down in Florida, where everyone had tropical and beachy and sunny and stuff. I did not have that. I have a lot of decor, and it's all the country, primitive, rustic, and that's what I took with me, and everyone liked it. It definitely was a different look for people down in Florida. That's just the type of decorating I prefer. I'm not into modern. I'm not into bright colors. If you were to see my home, the inside of my home, all my colors on my walls are very neutral. They're warm colors, you know, the creams, the beiges. That's just what I go for. And I just think that's probably really popular in my area. I mean, with living out in the country, living on a farm, that's what people do around here. That's the decor you're going to see in most homes. And if you were to go to a craft show, you're going to see more primitive and country and rustic crafts and decor than you would anything else. And then also too, you know, we're not too far from Amish country, and down there is pretty much country, primitive, rustic. And it has been that way for years and years. I don't see it changing anytime soon. That's what people prefer here. And even though I don't sell my finished products, that's kind of just how I design towards it. Yeah, I have a few cartoonish and characters, but I really rather do the country and rustic type of patterns and designs. I was approached recently by somebody in a town not too far from us that took over a store that my husband and I would go and visit when we would go to this town, because we like to look around to sell my products in. So I'm debating if that's something I want to do. I've actually been approached by a couple businesses. So that's something I'm contemplating. I might do that. I've been asked to participate in some craft shows. Don't know if I'll do that or not. Possible. Some of these bees are very, very tiny, as you can see, and they're very delicate. If you look at the little antennas, so you want to be careful painting these. And just handling them, period. And the reason why I created so many different size bees, that way you, the person, can choose which one you prefer, which sizes you prefer. You don't have to use all of them. You don't have to use 6 bees if you don't want to. Maybe just, you know, one on the tailgate, one on the license plates will be enough for you. And maybe one, you know, on the bear or the beehive. There is no right or wrong with how many you choose. I just like to give options. Now I am going to go and probably add just a little bit of shading above the line of this yellow that I'm putting on the antique gold, just to give it a more country feel. But it's not something you have to do. Nobody has to paint their this like I do. I'm just here to share with you my techniques, give you pointers. If you're just learning how to paint, I hope I'm able to help you. if you are struggling painting, and hopefully my painting and things that I say encourage or inspire you. Some people like to paint like they see a pattern and they want to paint it exactly like the person that designed it. But it's not, it's not necessary. But if that's something you want to do, that's one of the reasons why I'm creating these live videos as well, to tell you the colors I'm using and how I'm doing things. And if you're new here, the paints I like to use are Deco Art Americana. That's the only paint I usually use. I think they have a wide variety of colors. What I like about them also is the quality of paint is really, really good. Their highlighting and shading recommendations are spot on. They do retire colors from time to time, but what's nice about them is if they do happen to retire a color, they will give you the formula for mixing that color, which is really, really nice. Sometimes you might have to purchase 3 different colors to do that, but I mean that's time consuming to have to do all that stuff, but that's just something they do, and I think that's wonderful. All right. Well, let's try. I don't want to do the raw sienna like I did on the beehive. I'm going to just do a little honey brown shading, even though I do like the raw sienna. But it brings more of an orange color to it, and that's not really what I'm after. So I kind of want to stick with like a brown. And I'm just going to do it lightly, and if I don't like it, I will go back and remove it. I'm just thinking it needs something. I'm just using a tiny angle brush, and I'm just putting it on ever so lightly and just lightly touching it. And I can see by looking at the camera, you can hardly tell if that's on there. And that's okay, because if I do want it a little bit darker, I mean, I can see it, but what I see and what you folks see is sometimes 2 different things. I don't know. I think I'll just go back and just leave it be. I don't think I'll go there. And the thundering is starting. So, we might not be on here that long. So if I happen to disappear very quickly, you'll know it's because of the storm. And I may, if that's the case, I may just finish this off the camera view, the live view, and post a picture of the finished product. Or I might come on later and continue painting it. Just depends on the weather. We've been getting a lot of bad storms out our way, so I like to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, we live in an old farmhouse and we do have a basement, but I do have family close by, rather my husband does, that unfortunately, they live in mobile homes and they do not have shelter. So we worry about that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to change this up. I'll go back and repaint that, but boy, I hope there's not a lot of outdoor graduation parties today. Oof. Because this is about the time they start. I actually changed to the color soft black. And the reason why I did that, and this is just my personal choice, it's a little bit more muted than the black, if you can see that. And this antique gold is not a bold, bright color. It's a little muted. I just felt that it would blend better with the antique gold. Like I said, I use soft black a lot. I just started using it, probably 6 months ago. I bought a design and you were supposed to use soft black, and I thought, well, black's black. But it really has turned out to be a nice color, and it's something I go ahead and use a lot. And if I wasn't telling you that the color was soft black, I can see on the camera right now, you can't really see the difference. And you can't see the difference in person. I will tell you this, sometimes this color is very hard to find. It's a very popular color. So, if you find it, stock up and buy a few bottles. Because it can be slim pickings. Another option you have, too, if you wanted to paint these bees and not paint all these lines separately, my recommendation is, if this was actually probably bigger, I would actually take and paint, except for the head, I would paint all these lines the yellow. And then I would go back and paint the stripes that are supposed to be black, black. And the reason why I say that, to paint these lines individually, the stripes rather, individually, is time consuming. Especially on the smaller pieces here. So if you went and just painted the entire thing yellow, except for the head, then all you would have to do is spend time painting the black stripes. But if you're someone that it doesn't bother you and that you're spending extra time painting, then do it individually. Yeah, it's pouring pretty good. I can hear it. I don't really try and look at time as far as how long I've been painting. I really don't want my videos to be that long, but the positive is if you decide to watch this on replay, you can fast forward through things that you don't really want to see. I rearranged my work area, and now I have to try and find where I put things. It's got different holders and so forth, so I gotta get used to my setup. But I think I prefer to keep a clean, organized work area. I try and clean up as I go. Because my area is pretty, it's small. So the less stuff that I have to move around, the better. And I don't like having to look for things. So I usually get all my paints out prior. And that just doesn't pertain to going live. That's just how I am personally. I know what colors, ahead of time I know what colors I'm going to use. And I'll pull those out. And I will make changes. I'll change my mind. Even though there's a particular color I think that was going to look nice, it might not work out that way. So, in the midst of me painting my project, I'll change my mind. I just like to have everything within an arm's reach. And plus, too, I have my camera very, very low, as low as I can possibly go. So you can get a better view. So that kind of makes my work area even smaller because I'm trying to stay in camera all the time. I don't know if you can hear that rain or not, but it's coming down pretty good. The wind's starting to pick up. So we will see. I will stay on as long as I can. But if I feel the need to have to stop this, I will. And if you have notifications set up for my Facebook page, if I have to stop this abruptly, you'll receive a notification. Then I'm back on. I probably should have put these on the sticky board to hold them, but I didn't. Now I have created a private group for Elavita Designs. You have to request to join. So if that's something you're interested in doing, please send a request to join. I'm actually going to probably start doing my lives in there. I've had a lot of people ask me to create a separate room, and so I did do that. This whole good morning. This whole Facebook going live. I've only just started doing this. I only did this because, you know, it was, people asked me, you know, they said they would like to see me paint, see what my techniques are and whatnot. So I just started doing it recently. I'm not sure if it's something I'm going to keep up with. I'm actually really busy. Hi, Sarah. How are you? Is it storming over by you? Sarah doesn't live too far from me. And she's been getting some pretty bad storms too. Well, I hope everything's okay her way. I know this is the start of camping season. Public pools being opened. Not a good start. I feel bad for those people that are camping. Kind of now confined to indoors. It's too bad. But the sound of the heavy rain hitting your metal roof in your camper is actually relaxing. And there starts the thunder. So after I finish painting this very last small bee over there, I think I am going to step away just so I can view what's going on outside. I do have windows in my room with the blinds. I have blinds down. I don't want to pull them up because one's right actually in front of me, and all the outdoor light would come in and cast a shadow. And the other one's over by my laser cutter, so I prefer not to do that. I keep them shut. And I need to check, make sure there's no windows open. I'm sure my husband shut them all, but just in case. Seems like the majority of the bad weather will come out of the west for us, and the north. That's where it will come in our windows. So I know we like to leave a few windows open on the west and north side of our home. And something tells me it's blown in because I can hear him shutting windows. And that's on the south side, and that's not normal. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and while I'm taking a break, I'll go ahead and empty my water because it is kind of dirty. I don't really plan on doing a whole lot of shading and highlighting, but since I'm going downstairs to check on the situation, I might as well do that. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, boy oh boy, we got a lot of rain. It's flooded out there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and paint these stars. I'm going to use my Country Red. That's my go-to color for red. I use it a lot. I mean, I do have different variations of red, but, you know, I'm a country, primitive, rustic kind of girl, and those are the colors I like to kind of stay with. Some of my designs that have characters in them, you will find that I use brighter colors, but it just kind of goes with the design. But I prefer more muted colors, more warm colors. I'm still undecided if I want to add any type of shading or highlighting to the lettering. I think sometimes you can make things a little bit too busy looking with shading and highlighting. So but it has to be your personal preference. Now, I know me, I will put a little bit of black plum on these hearts, and some of them will be, it'll be tough, because they're so tiny, but just because there's no shading and highlighting at all on this bee at all, so I gotta, well, except for the wings, I do have to try and bring in a little something, something. And I don't think it's going to stop today. Not anytime soon. So this is the kind of weather we're going to have today. Well, I think it's supposed to rain all weekend, and that's okay. I didn't have special plans anyways. Get this finished, get it together. I do have another design to paint, something for my truck. My interchangeable sign. And I'm actually working on a new interchangeable design. And I want to test that. And I have some add-ons I want to do for my truck. And the entryway. I mean, when you add the entryway along with the truck and the insert, and then, you know, if you were to purchase one of the add-ons for the entryway and set that up in your home as a display, it's really, really nice. It just adds a different look. It's not something you have to do, but it just adds more to your truck. I like that. And seeing that we're about ready to glue, I'll get my glue ready. I'm just shading around one side just to bring in another color. It's not something you have to do. And it looks like part of my red paint was not dry all the way. And if you try and put wet paint on paint that's still wet, it will pull it off. So I'll probably have to go back and redo this heart, this bigger heart. Alright, I'm just going to test this. I don't know if this is something I want to do, but if I don't like it, I'll go over and repaint it. I think I might just add a little bit of highlighting to the top of the lettering of Beary Sweet. And the highlighting color per DecoArt is the Marigold, which it's not a bold highlighting color. It just kind of brings more yellow into that areas from what I could see. But I'll do that, and then I'll go back and add a little lighter yellow. I want to say I use golden straw or I use moon yellow. I can't remember. And here's the thing, if it's a little bit too much brighter than what I wanted, it's fixable. You just go back over your lettering with your base color. See, I don't know if you can see that it's really not making much of a difference. But I'll just go ahead and finish up the letters doing this. That way there's uniformity. It's uniform. And I will go back and just do like the tip of the letters. With the golden straw. And then if I need to lighten them up even more, I'll do moon yellow. Because there's a difference. It's hard to tell by the camera, but there is a difference. I really don't want to do the ombre type effect on my letters this time around. And I'm not one to use the paint pens and put lines on my lettering. That's just, it looks nice, but it's just not something I do. As you can see, that isn't very bold, and I'm okay with that. I'm just kind of looking for a little muted effect anyways, so. That's just how I paint. I'm not into bold lines and bold highlighting and shading. That's just not something I practice. It doesn't appeal to me. Doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just not my thing. So just always paint your project the way you like it, what appeals to you. It might not appeal to somebody else, but this is your project and you need to do it the way that you like it and what's going to make you happier. So that's a little bit lighter, not a whole lot. I said I wasn't going to do the ombre. But if I can do a very watered down honey brown, I'm going to try that. But I want it to be really watered down. I mean, you can barely see it. But it does bring in another color. I might go back over that brown just to make it a little darker. And I will take a smaller angle brush and put some moon yellow on. Just on the very edge of the tops of these letters. Just to brighten them slightly. It's very minimal. And that moon yellow is very close to the golden straw, so you can just see a little bit of a difference, not a whole lot, and that's what I'm after. And like I said, the shading color for the antique gold is the raw sienna. That just has an orangish, reddish cast to it. And that's not really what I really want. So I'm not going to go back and add that particular color at the very edge of this. I'm just looking for just a slight variation, very minimal. But that might be something you'd like to do, and hey, add it. And if you don't like it, here's the thing, you can always cover it back up with your base coat. You won't know if you like something or dislike something unless you try it. So, You should always try. Well, I think we are about done painting. So we can start gluing this together. And then I will show you my Highland cow insert. I should have brought up my add-on. But maybe I'll do a sneak peek on my page or my private page. I think a good place to start when it comes to gluing this bee together is I think you should start by gluing on the heart first. That's what I'm going to do. And as you can see, you can tell just up here, there's the top of the heart, there's the bottom, so you know which way it goes. And then, too, that'll help you with making sure you get the right size. But I'm going to start with gluing on the hearts, making sure it's dry. And then, you know, there's no right or wrong where you glue the wings on the bee. It has to be your personal preference. You might want it up higher so it shows more of the stripes. You might want it down lower. So when it comes that time, you'll just have to decide what you like best. And I like to use a Q-tip on smaller areas. It just kind of helps me keep from getting too much glue on that area. But you have to decide what works best for you. This is what works best for me. And I do have tweezers for the very small hearts. I think it might just be easier to hold them and glue them and then place them where they need to be. Not for sure. Just trying to get everything matched up. And once you do, just slightly press it down to keep everything aligned. You can keep it from moving. And then just set it aside and go to the next one. I want to just make sure I'm getting the right wing with the right heart. So I always just like to make sure that I'm grabbing the right piece to glue on before I glue it on. That's just me. The less work I have to do for myself, the better off. And I did cut extra hearts and extra wings, just in case, because they are tiny. You can easily lose them, damage them. So I always like to have spares. These pieces are tiny. You don't need a whole lot of glue. Because these hearts are so tiny, I'm just using my tweezers, so I have better control. Of how much glue is being put on and where they're actually being placed. And two, I think it helps with lining them up and getting them where they need to be. Because this glue does dry fast. And I very rarely ever glue something that's not lined up. But there are ways that you can fix it if you do. It doesn't pertain to me because I'm just very, very careful. And that just goes towards me being very meticulous. Meticulous when I paint, meticulous when I design, meticulous when I glue. I don't want to have to redo or try and fix errors. And like I said, my score lines are a lot smaller to help with if you don't happen to get your letters on there. It allows error. Just a little bit room for error. But that way, if you happen to, your glue sets up and it's not where, it moved or something, chances are you might not have to take it off. The score lines are just a reference guide. It's just to help make things easier for you folks. And we do have to glue the nose of the bear and the opening on the beehive. I was undecided if I wanted to put little white lines on the nose and the opening, just to add an extra detail. So I don't think I'll do that while I'm live, but if that's something I decide to do later, I will. Like I said, you don't have to really highlight and shade every element of the design. It has to be your personal preference. And I'm just using a minimal amount of glue. Because a little bit of this goes actually a long way. You don't need a whole lot. I actually got too much glue on that particular letter. I had a graduation last night. Boy, that was a long night. Plus, it was my stepdaughter's birthday. It was my granddaughter's birthday. It was one of the grandchildren's that was graduating's birthday. 3 birthdays on the same day. So after graduation, we all went out to dinner. It was a nice evening. Didn't get home till almost midnight. Long day. All right, like I said, I have spacers, so it brings it to another level. I'm going to wait to glue those until I actually get my other stuff on my truck put in, my tailgates, just to make sure I want that on there. Because if I can get away with not doing it, that's what I'll do, and I'll just glue the bee there so it covers it up. So it's just an option. Okay. Almost there. And I try to keep, when it comes to gluing, especially like these larger pieces, I try and keep my glue towards the middle. That way, if I happen to have too much glue, it doesn't squish out the sides and get on my surface. There might be other ways out there. It's just what I feel more comfortable with, and that's what works for me. Okay. Now here's where you need to decide exactly, how far up you want these. I personally think, and this is just me, I'm going to have it actually covering up that top yellow line, so all that's showing is one yellow stripe. That's what I think I'm going to do. And I'm just going to put the glue right where the heart area would be. I think that's going to be more than enough glue. And just try and line up the center of my heart, the point of my heart at the bottom, with the stinger of the bee. Okay. Well, let's get things moved around here so I have a little bit more room to work with. And we'll start putting this together with the truck. And if I have to add those spacers, so be it. Okay, I use Velcro dots to add the interchangeable stuff. As you can see, these are the ones, the non-fuzzy. So what I'm going to do is just take the opposite of those, put them on top like this, upside down. Which is normally how I do it. I don't know what I was thinking when I told you how to put these on. I was doing my truck. Was very tired. And then I'm just gonna line up my tailgate. Where it needs to be. And just press on it. It's the same process for the license plate. Okay. I don't think I need to actually put that spacer on. I was going to use the bigger B for there. But before I make my decision and start gluing everywhere, I'm going to go ahead and put my insert in. So I can get an idea exactly where I want it. So I always like to set things out and kind of get a visual before I actually commit to the final piece. And I will, I think, go to my file and see exactly how my line drawing is. Because I know when I recreated my line drawing, I had it a certain way that I liked. So it looks like I had something like that. I think I actually had a B. And there. B there. I think a B there. But I don't know if that's too busy. That might be just a little bit too busy. I don't know. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to call it a day. And I'm going to think about exactly where I want to place my bees, because I will be gluing them on. And I'll post a picture of the finished product. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful Saturday, and happy Memorial Day. Take care.